What is going on out there, peeps? All right, so I don't know what the hell this thing just blew up. Anyways, some very interesting news to share with you. Could there possibly be a rate change for the Iraqi dinar and Vietnam dong by October of this year? Is it even possible? It might be, and I'm going to explain to you how that works. All right. So real quickly though, you guys are fools. Okay, so this one was sent to me, and every time I see it, I start laughing. Pimpy's Peeps. That's right. I'm gonna have to get a hold of Peeps Candy and tell them to release their version of Pimpy's Peeps. This is funny. And they're staring at me. Anyways, I thought this was cute, and I just wanted to share it with you. Yeah, Pimpy's Peeps are there. Another thing you guys are asking me, how come I don't talk about money metals exchange more? No, I still work with them. I just don't want to keep hitting you guys with like a commercial every single day. Just continue to reach out to them when you want to buy your gold and silver. We still are working together. It's all good. Okay. I just, I don't want to keep hitting you in the beginning with same videos over and over. I mean, like advertisement over and over. But trust me, by now, if you haven't figured it out, you need to go to Money Metals and start purchasing some gold and silver. Then definitely you're missing out on the video I just released. Anyways, we have Pimpy's Investment Chat. It's the same name as the YouTube channel. We do talk about the Iraqi dinar, Vietnam dong, gold, silver, and cryptocurrencies in this group. It's free to join. There is a link in the description. We talk about investments only in here. Over here, we got the hidden things in front of your eyes. We talk about the NESARA, GESARA, current events, politics, things that most people might consider a conspiracy thing goes right here in this group here, okay? That's a different group altogether. Before I get into why I think the rate change might happen by October, let's go on and see what's going down there in Vietnam. Look at this. Ben Doing, I think it's Doing, how he's pronounced it. It's just called Dong. Ben Dong first half trade surplus hits $2.6 billion. The southern province of Ben Dong recorded a trade surplus of $2.6 billion, that's US dollars, in the first half of the year, according to the Department of Statistics. This took place during the Rona pandemic. That's really great news for Vietnam. Its exports topped US 11.9 billion, marginally up year on year, while imports rose 4.2% to 9.4 billion. That's where they come up with the 2.6 difference. Wood products topped the export list, increasing by 0.06% to $1.7 billion. According to the Bing Dong Wood Processing Association, the global Rona outbreak has affected the wood industry in the form of lack of timber supply and sharp fall in demand for furniture. But the industry has managed to overcome these problems thanks to the increased domestic supply of raw materials and diverse, unique, innovative products and improved quality that sustained exports. So whenever we look at how we determine whether or not Vietnam is manipulating their currency or needs to change the rate of the currency, one of the things is we look at the amount of the surplus. It has to be a percentage of the GDP. So their GDP is growing. You can see right here, Ben Dong's GDP grew by 6.73% in the first half. Wow, the industrial production is up 6.4%. Sooner or later, they're going to have to change the rate. But that's not why I think it's going to change between now and October, possibly. New momentum for U.S.-Vietnam trade relations. Looky here. Good lordy. Yeah. Vietnam exports, Vietnam imports. Look at the huge difference. See, this is what got them in trouble the year before last. Last year, see the difference? Look at it again. So this is part of how they determine whether or not they need to increase the rate of their currency. But this is not why I think it might happen. You got to remember, what they look at is the strength of the Vietnam dong versus the US dollar. That's how they come up with the rate. Take all these other things in consideration. The GDP, import exports, and surplus. I showed you guys on one of my videos how they determine what causes people to go on the currency manipulation schedule. Well, you can see every year they continue to grow and grow. And this year, even despite the Rona, because we're still kind of technically down while Vietnam's up and running, they're going to have to change the rate. They will get in serious trouble with Trump. They know this. I bet you know, I don't think they're going to hope that Trump loses, because if he loses, then Biden comes in and gives everything back to China. All of our manufacturing jobs and our economy would go to shit, is what happened. Okay, so you got to be careful about that. So anyways, this is a nice little thing that goes over 25 years of history, talking about where they are now and, you know, how much money they're making. But even so, two-way trade between Vietnam and the U.S. rose more than 160 times in the past 25 years. Yeah, that's actually really good. After 25 years of diplomatic relations between Vietnam and the U.S., the import-export turnover between Vietnam and the U.S. has increased year by year. The U.S. has always been a leader partner in importing goods from Vietnam. However, this is also a fiducious customer and requires strict testing of products' quality and origins, because, you know, China likes to slip things under the radar through Vietnam sometimes. So anyways, right here it says, can you give an overview of the changes in the structure exports between Vietnam and U.S. for the past 25 years in relations? And it does. Whoever did this article obviously went down here to do so. In 2019, Vietnam's goods exporter turnovers to the U.S. exceeded 66.6 billion U.S. dollars, an increase of more than 35% compared to 2018. And the difference between 2019 and 2020, I think, is going to be a much bigger increase. The total value of Vietnam's exports to the U.S. accounts for about 25% of Vietnam's total goods exported. That's a huge number. This is another reason why Vietnam needs to do something with their currency. I told you, once these new restrictions were put on currency manipulators, you're talking about sanctions, you're talking about fines. You know, I don't think Vietnam, who's doing phenomenal, benefiting from the trade war between China and the U.S., and then the fact that China gave the Rona to everybody, and now companies are pulling out and moving businesses over into Vietnam, which is great for the Vietnam economy, okay? So this strengthens their dollar. The stronger their economy becomes, the stronger their dollar becomes, okay? Now bring that up because it's important. I'm going to encourage you, because I go into much more detail, to come and see this video I just released today. NESARA, GESARA, dinar, dong, gold, and silver revaluation. Could the transformation of wealth happen between now and October 2020? And I laid out to you why. By the way, thank you everybody. I've reached 32,000 subscribers. And once again, I am humbled by this experience. And I absolutely know, without a doubt, that none of this is possible without you. So I am very grateful. But if you're watching this video and you're not a subscriber, please do so, because it does help out the channel and it keeps everything free. Okay, that's what I try to do. Now in here, I will touch a little bit on an article. This one here, it says new dollar backed by gold coming this October. So I do talk about that, and it affects gold and silver, by the way. But I wanted to come down here to something very, very important. Where is it at? I'll leave a link for this as well. So here, let's start just this little portion here. The rumor and big fear is that the IMF might opt to remove the United States from the global SDR basket. A while back, I did a video explaining why we don't want to be part of the SDR basket. This is just another one of these huge globalist movements. There had to be some changes involved in this SDR basket, or else it wouldn't benefit us at all. It actually benefits the globalists. I mean, there is a good side of the SDR, but I doubt that they would implement it. I don't want to get too far into this. But anyway, look at this. So, removing the U.S. from the global SDR basket, effectively reducing the U.S. veto rights from the world stage. The SDRs would then be a step closer to replacing the greenbacks, which is our money, as the world's reserve currency. Well, we get our strength from the fact that we are the world's currency. I told you we're getting ready to step into a new type of monetary system. So how does this affect the Iraqi dinar, the Vietnam dong, gold and silver? Right here. Considering the potential damage that the Fed's QE will inflict on the dollar, weakening its status as the world's currency. Remember, Trump also wants to weaken the US dollar. It's too strong, and he knows that. The potential IMF move towards replacing greenbacks with the SDR would cause a massive devaluation of the dollar. Our dollar, the US dollar, up to possibly 80%. So do you see how those currencies, since our currency would be devalued up to about 80%, what's that do with foreign currencies against our currencies? Yes, it increases their value. Because if we are where we are right now, based on the strength of our currencies, like you have Iraqi dinar, you have the Vietnam dong, you have our dollar. The exchange rates are where they are, based on the strength of our dollars. If we somehow magically lost 80% of our dollar's value, what does that do to the other two currencies? It increases their value against the US dollar 80%. So if you lose 80% of your value, then the other currencies gain 80%. Do you see how that works? Yeah, I know. I get it. This might happen before this October. So we sit around and we go, which is going to go first? The Vietnam dong? The Iraqi dinar? Gold, silver? According to this article, if it happens the way it's supposed to happen, the IMF would go ahead and remove us from the basket of SDRs, replacing our greenbacks with the SDRs, devaluing our currency by 80%. That would increase the value of the Iraqi dinar and Vietnam dong against the US dollar by 80%. Yeah. We still need Iraq's sovereignty to be recognized. I'm thinking that's why this thing's happening so quick like it's been. This is why Al-Qaeda's hurrying up. This is why the UN's watching them closely. This is why you see these things happening here in July. I have a feeling when Al-Qaeda comes here in July, they're going to go ahead and request that the world once again recognizes sovereignty of Iraq. Removing the restrictions off the currency. When we get removed, if we get removed from the SDR baskets like this thing thinks is going to happen, our value in currency, the value would drop 80%, which means, doesn't it make sense? If ours drops 80%, theirs would obviously increase. If you have a negative on one side, you need a positive on the other. Think of T accounts. Think equal balancing, okay? So if ours devalues 80% in value, that means the other currencies against us would increase by 80%. That's the time and window we need to rush to the bank and make the exchange. And then turn around and put it into gold and silver. Because then what this article goes on to say is, with the IMF attempting to pull off a physical reckoning minus the US dollar, President Trump, with his advisor Judy Shelton, has advocated, as President Kennedy did, tried to do in 1963, pull off a global reckoning of his own by issuing U.S. Treasury notes backed by gold. The new dollar would be pegged to gold, possibly at a modest starting point of $10,000 an ounce for gold. Yeah. So the removal from the IMF SDR basket, let's hope that happens first. Let's hope that the value of the US dollar drops by 80%. Let's hope that the exchange rate between the Vietnam dong and the Iraqi dinar increases by 80%. You go ahead and drop a comment in. Go ahead and post a comment. What does that calculate out to in value? Think about where our exchange rate is. All right. And then increase it 80%. That would be the exchange rate for both the Vietnam dong and the Iraqi dinar. See what I'm saying? See where I'm going with this? Once we are removed from the IMF SDR basket, and if indeed whatever percentage that our dollar drops in value, that means other currencies increase in value by that much because of the decrease in our dollar. We would have to rush down there really quick, exchange our money, and then turn around and take that money and buy gold and silver with it super quick. That's going to be such a quick window of time. I don't know when this is going to happen. They're talking about this all is going to happen in October. Look at this. I think you all see where the dangers and, more importantly, the opportunities are as we approach the October deadline. There's a possibility that this crap might happen all at the same time. A decrease in our currency is an increase in their currency. There's a possibility that our currencies, the ones we've invested in, the Iraqi dinar and the Vietnam dong, as well as our gold and silver, can all see a revaluation by October 2020 as we move into the gold standard. Now keep in mind that I want you guys to pay attention to right here. It says a new dollars would be pegged to gold, possibly at a modest starting point of 10,000 or even higher. That's the modest starting point. I think it's only the first of many steps we're going to see the increase of gold and silver. Man, I think we are finally there. If, just let me put that out there. This is my opinion and my opinion only. If this news article is accurate and Trump does in October, does indeed remove himself, and you've seen he's been doing, he's removed himself from the United Nations, the WHO organization, the Paris Agreement. He's not lying. He's doing exactly what JFK wanted to do many, many years ago. But if that's the case, what else did Kennedy want to do? What did he say? He wanted to shatter the CIA into a million pieces and break them up and dissolve them. So once Trump's reelected, because trust me, this would give him a landslide victory. People holding on to the dinar and the dong, gold and silver, you would drive in your brand new Lamborghini, leaving your mansion house with your gold Rolex watches, running down to vote for Donald Trump and RP. Don't buy that kind of crap, you guys. Anyways, I just wanted to share this with you because I think it's finally coming here and it's possible. It's possible, you guys. All right? Let's keep our fingers crossed. Do you see how now? See how now, Brad? I know it's going. Anyway, do you see now what I'm talking about? How the rate change could possibly happen at the same time? If our currency devalues 80%, that means other currencies increase 80% against ours. All right, if you like the video, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel. And I surely do appreciate it. And I'll see you later on, Pimpy's Peeps.